Welcome to this new lesson of our Autodesk AutoCAD Plan 3D course. Today we're going to continue the P&ID Drawing lesson. And as you can see, we have drawn the main equipment, the main piping, and the equipment tags. But there are some other things that are missing in this drawing. We're going to start with the valves, okay? So, we're going to the palette of valves, and here we are. We have these different kind of valves. So, for the first one, I'm going to choose a globe valve, as we can see here. If you place the cursor over the different symbols of valves, you will have an explanation, okay? So I'm choosing a globe valve, which is going to be here, okay? And look, there is also a valve tag, and this tag is comprised by the nominal diameter, which I already set this pipe to be 3/4 of an inch, and it also has a tag. In this case, it's HA101, but I don't like HA, for example. So I'm going to open properties of that valve. And here I have attributes. I can open this, and for example, I want to call them VA, okay? So I want them to be VA, and well, let's keep and I want it to be also 001 without the 1 at the beginning. So I have changed the valve tag. It's not advised to change the nominal diameter here because it depends on the piping I am placing it, okay? So then after this pump, I have two valves. One valve is a globe valve as well, and the following is a check valve, okay? I could put it here in order to have more space, okay? And I can move this one, let's say here. But now, if I want to be consistent with my nomenclature, I have to change this tag of the valve. I'm going to teach you a new command. To open properties, I can write CH, and CH will open the properties window. It's not intuitive. CH has no relation with properties, but it is the command. So I'm going to call it VA002, okay? And the next one, same. I'm going to have to press escape. Then I select this one, CH, enter, okay? And here, VA003. Okay, I have those. We are looking different types of valves. Okay, then I have no valves in this line. In this part, I have no valves. I have one valve here in this recirculation cycle. It's a general valve, and I have to place it here, okay? And remember to change the tag. You can also double click it here, double click it, and it will appear this window, okay? I'm just realizing that I missed a line in our previous lesson. That line is a secondary line, okay, that comes after the compressor and goes back to the column on the first plate, okay? I've missed that line, and I also missed another one. I missed some others. Actually, this mixing tank has two inlets that comes from the tower, and there is an additional outlet from the tower that goes here. It's a secondary line, and it goes nowhere for now. Okay, now I have completed all the lines. Okay, so let's continue with the valves. In this upper side, there are no additional valves. In this lower side, there are no additional valves either. I have 3 valves here in these lines I just draw. Look, they are all globe valves. So I'm going to place one here, okay, one here, and one here. Okay, so those are the 3 valves I need. I'm going to change the tags. Remember, this is going to be VA005, VA006, and VA007. Okay, I have one additional valve. It's a check valve before the entrance of this reactor. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, remember to change this, VA008. Okay, and I think that's all the valves we have for now. We're going to add additional control valves in the next lesson when we will be working with control loops. Okay, so okay, now that we have drawn all in our plan. Okay, but we're missing something. It's normal that when you have this, I can hand this in to an engineer, and if he doesn't know what is the rules I use to draw, and what does TK means, or P or F or T or E, there are some of them which are kind of universal, but there are some of them that don't. So it's important to add additional information to this P&ID. And what's that information? Well, those are equipment info tags. So I'm going to show you. You have to click in the equipment, right click, and go to annotate. And in annotate, use vessel info tag. Vessel info tag, I'm going to put it here near to the original annotation, to the difference. Vessel info tag has this format, okay? It says it is a vessel, okay? And it has some symbols here that have to be completed. So let's double click here. And look, the info tag includes the width and the height of the vessel, the design pressure, and the design temperature. So let's say this vessel, this tank, has a width of 2 meters. Okay, but if I'm working in inches, well, I will have to convert that, but let's say 200 inches. I'm not sure how much is that, but let's say 200 inches. It's much more than 2 meters. And of height, let's say it has, well, no, it's too big. Let's say 100, and here, let's say 400. Okay, and design pressure, let's say, I don't know, let's say it's atmospheric pressure, and it's under normal conditions. Okay, so now, okay, look, it hasn't changed. Okay, now it changed. In case it didn't change, you have to write regen. Okay, and with regen, the problem is solved. Look here, this at symbol is like too close to the temperature. If I want them to be separated, I can both write and space here or and space here. I prefer to put it here. Okay, now it looks better. So this is the full information of my vessel. Actually, if I wanted it to be more aesthetically precise, I have to add here the units of weight and height. So any person in the world that have access to this P&ID could be able to know what does this vessel has and what are its conditions, its operating conditions. And it's these info tags are usually placed over here. Well, above or below. You can decide that, but I'm going to place them above, as I don't have so much space below. I may even have to place tags in other places, for example, like make a column here of tags, because they are not easily found. Okay, I'm going to use my layer of guide. Remember? Guides. Why? Because I want all the tags to be aligned. Okay, so I'm going to draw this guide here. Okay, I'm going to extend it. I'm going to move now this to center it. Okay, now I'm going to draw another line here. Okay, it will allow me to center it. Actually, I could divide this line in, I don't know, X number of segments that will allow me to, well, to have the tags spaced in the same amount of space. But let's do it. But then I will have to move this. And let's see how we're here with space. Let's move it a little bit here. Okay, and let's say we have like 1 section, 2 sections, 3 sections, 4 sections, 5 sections. Well, how we run out of space here. Let's divide it in 6 sections. Okay, I select the line, right, divide. Okay, this is the object, and I want it to be divided in 6 segments. Okay, so now I'm going to move this. Well, no, it's okay. It's in the beginning, because in the following it would be, well, I don't find, but there it is. The next one is going to be there. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one here. And well, the vertical, I'm not going to divide it yet because I want to be certain about other things. So I'm going to place first the biggest equipment tags. So I'm going with the cooling tower because it's the next one I find if I go from left to right. So click here, annotate, remember, and in this case, exchange your info tag. And I'm going to place it in the node that must be here. Okay. Now look, it's not a general exchanger heat exchanger too. It's a cooling tower, so I can change that. It's a cooling tower. I can change also this information. For example, if it doesn't have shell and tube, I can change that. And let's say here, well, I want it to be the height, for example. And well, this will going to kind of be kind of a problem, because if I put something here in the shell design pressure, which is not a pressure in my reports, if I generate reports, it's not going to be consistent. So if I don't need reports and I just want my drawing to be like for graphical purposes, I can change all of this and do not take care of what these names are. But if I want to generate reports, I must be consistent with what's here. Okay. So I'm going to cancel here. I'm not going to add all the specifics, well, because I don't have all the specifics for this process. I'm going to change this here. We said it was a cooling tower. And I'm going to, okay. And this one, I don't want it to be a vessel. I want it to be a storage tank. Okay, storage. Okay. So we are adding information to our P&ID. Now, the next big equipment I find is the furnace. So let's annotate furnace info tag. I'm going here and look for the next node, which is here. Okay, and look, the furnace has no more additional information. It's just a furnace. Okay. Now, let's go with the column. Right click, annotate, vessel info tag. Here it's the node. Now it says distillation tower, I can change these things: the width, the limiter height, the design pressure, the limiter, and design temperature. If I want it to be like number of trays, for example, I have to change the symbol characteristics and the symbol categories in the project setup. I cannot do that from here. Yes, not here. I just can add information. That's why it's important to set up properly your project. And if you're not sure at that moment, you can go back. For example, you can go back and change the project setup as I just did. And it may take some time because it has to make a lot of things. Okay, so now here I can go to P&ID DW settings, P&ID class definitions, engineering items, equipment. It must be in tanks, perhaps. Okay, and column or tower. Well, we have to find it. Let's see, pumps, mixing equipment, furnaces, filters. Okay, well, somewhere here, I'm not going to look it too much. I'm not going to give it too much time because, well, we don't want to spend a lot of minutes here looking for the tower. But for example, here you have a fixed bed column. That's not what I'm here. Distillation tower. Okay. Now here in distillation tower, I can change some of the parameters that are going to be in the vessel info tag. Okay. I can here edit annotation, and clicking edit annotation will help me edit this information. Okay. So I'm not going to do that at this time. I'm going to continue here. Go to the model. Well, we are in model, so let's look at another thing. Here, it's this button, which says, no, sorry, this one, maximize viewport, and I maximize viewport, okay? Well, let's continue. The following big equipment, let's say it's this, agitated tank, so annotate, vessel info tag. I go here, look for the following node, it's here. And it says a vessel. I don't want it to be a vessel. Let's say it's an agitated tank. Okay. We can continue. The following big equipment is going to be, well, let's say the reactor. Okay. Annotate. Vessel info tag. Let's look. Here it is. It's a reactor. Okay. And finally, well, one of these two tanks could be the last. We're going to annotate vessel info tag, and it's going to be right here. Well, it says distillation tower. I may have done something wrong because this is certainly not a distillation tower. So it's a product storage. Okay. So now I can draw another line. Let's say here. Okay. This is going to be my second line of text. Okay. I can divide it also in the, if I want to divide it, it's good. It's a good thing to be sure that they are of the same length. So I'm going to shorten it here. Then erase this part and come here. Here it's the same. So I divided it into how many spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, count the spaces, not the separations. Okay. So I select this line, divide, 6, enter. Well, now, oh, sorry. Now enter a number of segments, 6. Okay, now it's divided. And I can continue adding tags. So the following tag here is going to be this pump. Annotate pump info tag. It will be here. Look, it says pump. I can add manufacturer, low capacity, and total dynamic head. Okay. What else do we have here? We have this vessel, which is, yeah, this vessel. So let's annotate vessel info tag. Click here. And let's say it's not a vessel, it's well, let's say, yeah, waste tank. If you're going to consider a subproduct tank, no, let's say waste tank, because it stores what comes from the bottom of the column. Well, continue. We have the cooling tower, we have the furnace, so I still need to add a tag for this pump. Annotate, pump info tag, move here, okay. The next one is this other pump. Annotate, pump info tag here, okay. Now the column is has its tag. Now here, this heat exchanger, annotate, exchanger info tag. Let's put it here, okay. Now this other, annotate, exchanger info tag here, okay. And well, I would have put the reboiler, but there the reboiler is too far. The convention is to look for the tag of the equipment up them or below them, above them or below them. And if I put the reboiler tag here, well, it's kind of close, but still, it doesn't feel like so good. So it's better to try to put the tags as closer as possible. And well, actually here I'm running out of space to a lot of equipment. So I will have to move some of these tags, sorry, to this column, okay? So let's do that in order to have more time. This waste tank, which is here, its tag could be here because it's very much closer. So let's move it. Now let's put it here, okay? Actually, I could put it there. Okay. So what else could I move? The furnace. I can move the furnace. Let's turn off this. Okay, because the furnace is kind of close here. Okay. So then I have pumps. Let's move everything to the left. Okay, this pump is pump 02. Which one is that? This one. Where is pump 01? Okay, here. Good. Cooling tower is already. Okay, furnace is there. This pump 02. Let's go move pump 02 here also. Okay. And let's see if now I have more space. Well, this is pump 4. Okay, let's move pump 4 here. It's kind of close, okay. Installation tower, I'm going to let it there because it's a big equipment. Heat exchanger 1 and heat exchanger 2. Okay, look, here they are in the wrong order, right? Well, because they are the one the first we find from left to right is the 2, but it doesn't matter. Let's move it, okay, to where is the node? Let's see the node. Looking for the node. There it is. Okay. Now I can move this one to this node. And I have to change these names, right? Because I have general heat exchanger 1, general heat exchanger 1, and perhaps they're not the same. This one is cooling heat exchanger, okay? A cooler or a chiller. Let's say the chiller. It's a chiller. And this one is a preheater, okay? Because it heats the product before going to the reboiler. It's a preheater, so they are different. One is intended to cool things, cool down, and the other one is intended to heat things. Let's move this one up here. Okay, now let's move this one up here. Okay, this is something. It's a work of having order in your own drawing, right? Well, what else do I have to assign tags? Well, this reboiler, it's important. Annotate, exchanger info tag, and I'm going up here. Okay, see, it's not a general heat exchanger 1, it's a reboiler. Okay. Okay, let's see. This agitated tank already has its tag. I have this vessel, does not have its tank. So let's place it here. And it says it's a distillation tower. It's not a distillation tower. It's a drum. Okay, it's a drum. Then, well, I have this pump. Annotate. Pump info tag. Let's put it here. I'm running out of space here, but let's see how far can I go. The compressor. Annotate. Compressor info tag. It's going to be here, compressor. Okay, what's missing? Tank 05, tank 04, the reactor is ready. Pump 03. Okay, just it's missing the tank 04. So let's do something. Let's draw in the guide layout a line from here using my 90 degrees restriction, sorry, and okay, so I'm going to erase this here, erase this one. So in this vertex, I'm going to place the missing tag, which look what I did. I moved this from the equipment layout to the layer, sorry, to the guide layer. So now it's in the equipment layer. And I can click, annotate, vessel info tag. Going to put it right here. It's not a distillation tower, it's a product storage tank. Product storage tank. Okay. So I believe I have assigned all the tags. If I'm missing one, I'm sorry. So I'm going now to erase the guidelines. There it is. We could say it's not a P&ID yet, but it's a very good PFD, process flow diagram, okay? For it to be a P&ID, it still requires the control and instrumentation part of all this. And we are going to have a complete session, a complete lesson for that. We're going to leave that for the following part, okay? Now I want to show you something. Usually in P&IDs or in PFDs, it's a custom to add a table with the information of the equipment or the balance, the mass balance, or the energy balance, or some other information. But if I go to the paper layout, look, it looks a lot more small than it looked the last time you saw this, right? So how did I do that? I clicked on the viewport. The viewport is, I believe I haven't explained the concept of viewport. You have like two different spaces, right? You have the model space, which is infinite, right? I can draw anything I want in any size here. It's going to be infinite. And the viewport is like a portal that takes me from the paper layout to the model, but only allows me to see a part of the model, okay? So this yellow line is like a guidance to know how big my model is. But look, here in the paper, actually I have a lot more space to do many things. How is that possible? Well, I can select the viewport, here this small yellow line. And look, here there is a lock. That lock allows me, well, if it's not locked, if it's unlocked, as it is now, selected viewports are not locked. Look, if I double click inside the viewport, I can move within the viewport. Look, I am now zooming out, zooming in. I can move within the viewport. It's kind of hard to read because this grid is gray and the letters are black. but I could also, for example, if I want to see it better, I can turn read display 0. No, read display. Remember, this is iteration. Read display to 1. No, read display to 2. Well, it looks like I'm not being able to do that. But anyway, I can keep trying. I'm going to let it as it was. Read display. Anyway, when you plot it, there is no grid in the plots. Okay, so look, this size, I have more space. Yeah, the drawings are still not so small. It's like a good size for the drawings, and I can have like some space to draw a table down here. Yeah, for example, it cannot be a huge table, but I can place a table there. So if I don't want me to be able, or if I don't want AutoCAD to let me do this, I can block or lock the viewport. Look now, if I lock the viewport and I zoom in, I'm going to zoom in the paper, not in the model space. Okay, if you want to zoom in the model space, I'll have to come here. But let me do something before going there. I'm going to unlock the model, and I'm going to move the axis to, well, a more logical place if I'm going to make some changes here. And this yellow rectangle, I'm going to also make it larger to match the space, because that's how I will know. Okay, this is taking space. I will know how far can I draw. And well, there is this one here. We'll have to, let's turn off the snap. And let's see, it's here. Okay, let's move out. Let's zoom in again. Okay, looks like there it is. Right, more or less. Okay, escape. Well, now I'm going back to the model. Well, let's log it here. Go back to, or click here, maximize viewport. Okay, look, I have, well, I distorted this yellow thing because I moved them without the 90-degree restriction, right? So let's do something. Let's delete it. Let's delete this yellow box. Let's go back here. We're going to draw that in this no plot layer. Okay, so let's click rectangle. Okay, I'm going here to this corner. Well, wait, I have to activate the model space, because if I don't do that, I will be drawing that rectangle in the paper. So now again, rectangle. I verify that I'm in the no plot layer. I can zoom this way because the viewport is locked. Okay, so now I click here. This is the first corner, and the last corner will be up here. Where is my cursor? Okay, there. Good. See, it is a discontinuous line because it is in the no plot layer. And in the no plot layer, everything is a discontinuous line. So now I can go back finally to the model. And I am here and I have some space. I have gained some space for placing a table. So how do I place a table? Here, we are in the home ribbon, annotation. I can write text logically, add dimensions, create linear dimensions, create a multi-letter object, which typically consists of an arrowhead, an horizontal landing, a little line or curve, and either a multi-line text or object, and a table. And this one creates an empty table. So let's create an empty table. Let's say I want it to be a standard. Start from an empty table. I can also import it from an Excel table. Yeah, I will have to do that from a data link and launch data link manager and create a new Excel data link. For example, I'm not going to do that right now, but here you can do that and import information from Excel. I can use also from object data in the drawing, okay, which will extract the data. And well, let's say okay. So I have to create new data extraction. Use a previous extraction as template. Well, I don't have any previous extraction. So I can click next. I am in the project 3, I believe. P&ID, okay. Well, it looks like I don't have any that extraction possibility yet. So I'm going to create a table then from an empty table. I'm going to specify the insertion point. I want it to have 10 columns and 5 rows. Okay, the first row cell style is going to be the title. The second row cell style is going to be the header, and all other row cell or all other row cells style going to be data, as shown here. So we have a title, then headers, and then data. Okay. Well, actually, no, yeah, it's okay. So I'm going to click OK, and there it is, my empty table, which I'm going to place here. Okay, and look, I can double click here and add the title. The title is, I don't remember what's the name we gave to this. I believe it was product registration. Let's see in our paper space. Oh, we didn't give it any name. So let's do it now. Right, double click here. Let's say it's product recovery. Preparation doesn't exist. Sorry for that. Product recovery. Now I'm going to come here. Well, look what I did. I placed this table in the no plot layer, and it cannot be in the no plot layer. It has to be in the 0 layer, which is like a default layer. And now, well, here it's not a recuperation because recuperation does not exist, right? It's recovery, product recovery. And let's say, well, it's going to be whatever I want it to be. Yeah, let's say here are going to be the equipment, and for the equipment I will annotate the operating pressure, example, and here the operating temperature, okay, and here I don't know, it's weight. Yes, I'm thinking about characteristics that all equipment has. So this is the material. Let's say here it's the service. Yeah. And now I can write. Well, I'm going to disable for the tank 001, for the tank, sorry, for the P001, for the furnace 001, for the tower 001, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I can create that table and well fill it by hand, manually, one by one, or I can create reports. Let's see in the data manager, for example. Well, these are going to be huge things. I have here a list of equipment, right? With its tag, type, description, manufacturer, model number, supplier, comment, equipment, specification, weight, material of construction, class name, and all that things, okay? I can generate a table from this. Let's see how. Synchronize, refresh, export, export. Okay. I want to export display data, which is what I'm looking right now. Active node and all child nodes, yeah. And I'm going to save it where? In documents, P&ID, okay, in my documents folder. Let's say okay. Okay. I suppose it already exported. Let's wait a pair of seconds. That it allow me to close there. It's generating an Excel table with all the information of this box here. Okay. It's very similar to the one here, but this way you can have to do that by hand, one by one. Because if you were intelligent and while you were drawing, you were adding the information for each equipment, you can now just export it and use the table you already did. Okay, well, I don't know what's happening. Let's see if it already opened. Documents. Nope. No, it hasn't opened. So well, let's wait a couple of seconds and it will be ready. If it doesn't, and well, this is an important thing of teaching. If it doesn't open or if it doesn't work, because AutoCAD took too many time to do that, and I can't do anything here. I can't move, I can't go out, and that's why this course is intended to be like real life problems, real life drawings, because this is going to happen to you when you're working. Okay, so well, it looks like it already generated the table, but well, it's going to happen to you. Perhaps you're working and AutoCAD will block and it will have many bugs and you won't be able to do anything. So it's important that you are aware of that. And one key recommendation is save always. Here in this important button, save, or just write Q save. Perhaps you're working, writing commands, and between one line and another line, you can write just Q save, enter, and continue drawing. And that will help you to not lose any information. So now let's go to the documents folder again. Well, I have to, and here it is, P&ID equipment. I'm going to open it and let's see how this will look. Okay, well, look, in this case, it generated one tab for each type of equipment. Okay, so it's not very useful if I want to. Why are there two furnaces? Well, perhaps because of the problem exporting. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do. As I just want to explain you how to export something, I'm going to export the tanks table into our P&ID. So we know we already have it in an Excel document, okay, which obviously is empty because I didn't fill the information. So let's go back to AutoCAD. Let's erase this table and let's add another table, okay. In this case, I'm going to take the table from a data link. I'm going to launch Data Link Manager. I'm going to create a new Excel Data Link Manager, and I'm going to say it's a tank table of tanks. Okay. In that table of tanks, I'm going to take it from this P&ID equipment, open, and the Excel sheet I'm going to link is going to be the tanks one. Okay. I don't want to link the entire sheet. I'm going to link a range. Well, it's again thinking it doesn't allow me to click anywhere. Okay, and well, there is the range. Let's say okay, enter a range. Oh yeah, well, look, we have to open our Excel and tell AutoCAD what cells do we want. We're in the tanks sheet. We want from A1 to AA9. Okay. From A1 to AA9. Okay. Okay, there is a table of tanks. Well, it's thinking still. You can see that when you are linking AutoCAD with Excel, sometimes it's kind of slow. So, table of tanks. Okay, there it is. It shows here your preview. Let's click OK. So I'm going to create a table with the data of table of tanks, and let's say OK. Well, again, I'm in the no plot layer. I have to be in the 0 layer. Okay. Now look, it's kind of big. it overlaps with some drawings, but I'm going to place it here. Okay, I'm going to move it to the 0 layer, and I'm going to scale it. Scale, enter, specify base point. I'm going to scale it so it doesn't overlap. I'm going to move it now. I'm going to center it. Let's see here, and let's look what does it have. Well, perhaps it's not so aesthetic, but I can move that, right? I can move, for example, this. So this column which has the longest strings has more space than this one, and I can even make this one smaller and make this one smaller, and then do all that things. Okay, I can also let's see, what does this do? Well, I can expand it, yeah, from this direction. I can expand it also in this direction, which could be nice. Let's expand it this direction. Okay, so every single cell will have more space, and it should look better now. Yeah, it does. So, well, here it is. You have just added a table with the information of, well, in this case, of your tanks. Yeah, in this case, well, distillation towers, storage tank, waste tank, drums, agitated tank, reactors, product storage, and product storage tanks, both of them. Okay, if I had filled all that information, it would look very nice. Okay, so, well, with this, we can finish this lesson. It was the second part of the P&ID drawing, and you already know how to draw PFDs, process flow diagrams, how to add tags, and how to add tables, and how to export and import information from Excel and to Excel. In the following lesson, we are going to complete this PFD, and we're going to turn it into a P&ID. It means we'll add information about the pipes, about the piping, the pipelines, and about the, well, we're going to draw the control loops because they are not control loops, and we're going to learn about instrumentation and instrumentation lines. So thank you now again for being here, and see you in the following lesson.